Britain is too self-involved to see Brexit isn't a priority for the EU anymore, a Brussels official has bragged. An EU diplomat has said Brexit isn't on the EU's radar anymore, after the bloc spent days thrashing out its economic recovery fund to manage the fallout from the coronavirus crisis. Another expert also described Brexit as a small beer in comparison to the other problems the bloc is currently facing. Anand Menon, professor of European politics at King's College London, said the EU could afford to choose the Union over Britain in the event of a no-deal Brexit. He said, "If Brexit is second in our list of priorities, imagine how far down the list it is of EU member states. All this stuff about Brussels better brace itself. Compared to the €1.8 trillion, £1.63 trillion they just signed off, it's small beer." Certain loud Brexiteers might like to shout that Brussels had better brace itself for the UK to walk away, but in reality, it's going to hit the UK much harder than it will hit the EU. The EU can better swallow the financial cost of no deal, meaning it can afford to choose the Union over Britain, should it be asked to make that choice. It comes as an EU diplomat mocked the self-involved UK, telling CNN, "When you've spent 4 days with the heads of every EU government arguing over trillions of euros, you start to see why Brexit is just not on our radar anymore. Unfortunately, the Brits are a little too self-involved to see that." Another EU official also said negotiations between EU members would be easier, without Britain sitting around the table after the bloc agreed to a crisis budget amid the coronavirus crisis. They said, "I think it proved that integration is alive and well, and that things might actually be easier without the Brits sitting around the table trying to stall everything." Georgina Wright, a senior researcher on the Brexit team at the Institute for Government, added, "It's true that an agreement on MFF and the Recovery Fund gives the EU 27 member states more headspace for Brexit, but they won't let it dominate their time or their thinking. The EU's focus is on economic recovery, the role of member states in EU decision-making, climate and the rule of law. Not on the UK. It comes after Britain and the EU clashed last week over the chances of securing a free trade agreement, with Brussels deeming it unlikely but London holding out hope one could be reached in September.